So Kris, I have a 14-year-old daughter, love her to death. She has a true entrepreneurial spirit. She's got a couple different things she's working on. I don't know what to tell her. She's like, Dad, I want to make more money. Dad, I want to do this. Dad, I want to do that. All of it revolves around making more money. What do I tell my 14-year-old to make more money?
Check it out. Listen, if you're a teenager or if you have a teenager and they want to know what can I do to actually get more career-minded, more serious, college may or may not be in their stars, but I'm going to tell you that 95% of the upcoming Gen Z, you know what they all want? They all want entrepreneurship. They want to control their financial destiny. And if that's you, you're definitely going to want to watch today's video.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go! I'm turning dreams into reality. Yeah, it's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
So today we're going to talk about how to make thousands of dollars as a teenager. Like literally, my daughter worked last week and in one day she made $1,000 and she's got these gigs that she's lining up. And you can imagine in my family, my kids are pretty entrepreneurial. And so I'm getting hit up all the time. It's like, Dad, you know, I'm not certainly telling them not to go to college. I'm certainly telling them that that is one of their options in life. But at some point, you're going to have to learn how to make money. College isn't necessarily going to do that. That's going to teach you skills for you how you can have a job. But depending on the level of success that you want, you're going to want to figure this out. And in my opinion, the best time to get this information is not when you're 40 years old and you're starting to regret some of your life choices, when you could have ignited this fire a lot earlier, like we're about to do right now. So you might be thinking to yourself as a teenager, come on, mowing lawns or flipping poop. Are those really my only two options in life? And I gotta tell you, I think that there's a lot to learn from McDonald's, right? I mean, you work there for 3 months and you're like, this is not what my future is going to look like. I'm going to make different choices. There's value in that. But I think today we're going beyond. You're really asking, come on, if I'm really more serious-minded, if I want to get a head start on my life, if I want to start developing some skills and abilities now, what do I do as a teenager to get serious about making money? So I'm talking to Trent out there that helped kick this whole message off. And his daughter, one of the things that she does is she has a whole bunch of neighbors that will pay her like $5 a week to every week go out, grab their garbage cans, their recycle cans, make sure they're out at the right time, and then return them. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is like some serious money for a teenager. But how long do you do that before you start getting stuck, right? Almost like lawn mowing or maybe picking up dog poop. There's money in it, but come on, can you turn this into a little bit more of an adult-oriented, serious business? So the first point of awareness that I want to share with you might sound a little obvious, but this is important. You need to start your own business. I'm talking about having the opportunity to learn and develop your own gig and get started with it. You see, when you work for somebody else, there's a ceiling on how much money that you can make. But when you own your own business, the sky's the limit. And my kids see this. They're like, Dad, are you the boss? They're so proud of me. Like, Dad, you're the boss. I'm like, well, technically, I'm not really the boss. There's a difference between being a boss and owning the company. I said, well, what's the difference? I said, well, a boss is a manager that manages people. They're still in the business, and we need these good people in our life. But you see, if you own the business, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have a job inside the business. It means that whatever leftover money gets made when the business is done, you're getting a piece of that action. So why do I want you to start thinking this way? Because I want you to think with the end in mind, not just getting lost in a little side hustle, side gig, but where could this thing really go? Well, if you are the owner, sky's the limit.
The sky is the limit. The sky is the limit.
So if you want to start your own business, there are 4 steps that you need to be aware of. And here's the first one. You got to start with a really simple idea. There's a lot of complicated stuff out there, but what you're looking for is, how do I solve a problem that gets someone from point A to point B, and how can I be the one to help solve that problem? Tony Robbins says that complexity is the enemy of execution. And in other words, sometimes the more complicated something is, the harder it is to do. Stick to basics and find a service that is straightforward in execution, like cleaning gutters, washing cars, or painting sidewalk numbers. And don't get lost on this. You might be thinking, oh, Kris, like, am I just going to be like painting gutters like my entire life? Well, check out idea number 2. The second step is you need to build clientele. This is a list. This is a group of people that are consistently buying that product and service. Like, let's use lawnmowers for just a moment, even though I was knocking it. Imagine if you actually had 10 neighbors that wanted you to do their lawn and they were paying you $50 a week. Well, that's $200+ a month. And since there's 10 of them, it's $2,000 a month. That is not a little bit of money. Now, you'd better be doing a good job. You better be doing the lawn care service better than a professional if you're doing that. If you're charging that rate, it's got to be something really impressive.
Hey, fellas.
But then you should be thinking, well, that's with 10 clientele. What if I had 50 clientele? Well, then it wouldn't be $2,000 a month. Then it would be 5 times that. It would be $10,000 a month. And all of a sudden, this is starting to scale. This simple idea is starting to grow in something more meaningful. Or going back to my friend with his 14-year-old daughter, she could literally knock out the rest of the neighborhood and say, let me do the rest of your garbage cans. And she could turn that into thousands of dollars a month. It's a simple idea, and building your clientele means that you've got to continue adding more clients. The more clients you add, the more money you make. Knock on doors, network with family, friends, ask existing clients for referrals to build your customer base. Try to keep them in tight geographical areas to make sure that you don't waste time traveling between jobs. I'm going to tell you right now that this version of marketing in any business is what determines whether you make a little money or a lot of money. So don't just be thinking, I'm here to provide the service. Really, I'm going to show you on the next step how you start asking other people to do some of that, because your job is, hey, I need to expand my clientele, and if I do that, then I actually make more money. Here's a reference that you're going to get. Step 3, farm it out, right? Basically, once you have enough customers, it's time to make your big move. Hire a friend, teach them to do your job, and then split the income. You might split it 50-50, you might give them 20% of the cut. You have earned your share by building the client base and by scheduling the jobs. And now, what are you doing with your time? Well, you're making sure that you're getting more jobs so your business is expanding, and you're also dropping in just to make sure that the person you hired or your friend is doing a really good job. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, listen up. This is where business adults screw it up all day long. You see, they have this weird idea in their head. Well, if you want something done right, you do it yourself.
You can't rely on anyone these days. You gotta do everything yourself. Don't we?
They have what I call the lone wolf syndrome. It means that they only see themselves being the one doing the work. And that's because they really believe that they're the best. But I'm telling you right now, you're a young, impressionable mind. Your success in business will come from hiring other people to do the work. Your job is not to work. It's to own the thing, not operate the thing, not doing the work, but coordinating it. So if you have the original idea, and then you start providing the original service by working hard, and then you expand your clientele in your book of business, you're going to get to the point where you're like, wow, there's just so much work now, and there's so much money coming in, I can pay someone else to do it. I'm going to farm it out. And when you do that, something really cool happens. You start making, even if all you're doing is making half the money, might be 80% of the money, maybe it's only 35% of the money, but you should be walking away from most of the work now. So that means you're getting your time back, but you're keeping the money. You'd be surprised how many adults don't understand this very simple process. And if you do it all right, you're gonna love this 4th step. Kris, I got my time back. I've got money. My life is pretty dang good. What do I do now? The 4th step, keep on scaling. Scaling means grow and make bigger. Now that you have your time freed up, keep growing that business or start a new one. The key is to only start businesses that you can teach someone else to run. And when your business gets really big, you're not just gonna have the employees that are doing the work, but you're gonna hire a manager to be in charge of the employees. And that's when you're gonna get the last little bit of your time left. This thing is gonna run like clockwork if you learn how to do it the right way. Now, a word of caution. If you find a model that is scaling well and you're doing a good job, don't look for an altogether different business. Go deeper and expand more of that business. Did you know that you could hustle for 3 or 4 years and get to literally doing hundreds and hundreds of lawns, maybe 1,000. You could sell that for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Literally, when someone is in college racking up a couple $100,000 worth of debt to pay for college, you might be selling your business that could wipe it out right there, or you could use it to start buying real estate, getting into investing. Listen, cultivate the entrepreneurial spirit. There are plenty of ideas. There's plenty of hustles for what you can do. And in a moment, I'll share with you some of my favorites. This is my dog gun. Just kidding. Check it out. Thank you so much for joining me today and having this conversation about entrepreneurship. Those are the steps, and that is how you get it done. Now, you might be saying, Kris, do you have any ideas that I can vet? Do you have any ideas that I can look at? Good news is I collect these all the time. I love helping adults and young people get their hands on businesses that don't cost $10,000, $20,000, $100,000. Sometimes you can literally get your first business started for under $1,000. So if you'd like to get a bunch of ideas, I've aggregated all these businesses and I've got them all organized in a link below. It's called 7 Figure Hustle. It contains many of my favorite ideas on things that you can literally do from a cell phone, working right from home. Literally, you don't have to drive anywhere. You don't have to go anywhere. And I've got adults. Some of them are making $100,000. Some of them are making over $1 million a year on it. It's pretty crazy. So click the link, learn about it, and I'll have a member of my team get in contact to give you even more information about some of these proven businesses. So I mentioned that there's a side hustle that you could use to replace your job. Well, if you want to learn more about that, I made a video right over here. I'll teach you all about it and see if that helps connect the dots and helps you on your journey of entrepreneurship. Good hunting.
So Kris, I have a 14-year-old.
Never been trying.
I have a track record of one take.
Now, Judy, here we go. Go again. Do your one take wonder, for real.